Don't Mess With Me Nagatoro, one of my favorite romance manga. I'm here today to talk about one of my favorite romances ever. Please Don't Mess With Me Nagatoro. There will be heavy spoilers, and I'll be focusing on the manga, just briefly touching on the anime at the end. Short version without spoilers is that it becomes a super sweet and wholesome show that does not rely entirely on its fetishy and fanservice aspects to be enjoyable. That stuff is there, and it works well if that's your thing, but that's not all it has to offer. The relationship between Nagatoro and Senpai, aka Naoto, the main character, but I like calling him Senpai, grows into a very positive and healthy relationship that feels very natural and unique. I love it if you give the show a chance, and if you can, give it up to the second volume rather than the first. My main focus will be on the characters and on the romance. So I do not have much defense for the very early parts, especially the first chapter. She's genuinely very harsh, and that was legit bullying, not just teasing. I completely understand people being uncomfortable with the first few chapters, especially. The beginning is not very indicative of the series as a whole. The tone and pacing drastically changes after the first volume. For example, they make it explicitly clear that she comes to realize that she was being way too harsh. We see her apologize when she realizes she has gone too far, and she does those things less. Over time, we get very clearly shown that he does genuinely enjoy his interactions with her, especially when she does get less harsh. So there's a good amount of character development, especially for Senpai. You see how Nagatoro has done a lot to help him, primarily in making him stand up for himself and others. You could absolutely make the argument that in a relationship like theirs, especially considering the harsh foundation in which you could argue there is abuse, he feels forced to change. But I don't feel that way. We see from the beginning that Senpai wants to stand up for himself. He wants to be more talkative and direct in communicating with people. Nagatoro helps him to go about these changes by both being someone he needs to stand up to at times, but also how to best go about it. Their daily art room shenanigans do a lot to build towards Senpai's growth, as well as be funny and cute. Then the moments outside of the school move away a bit from the routine shenanigans and offer nice dates between the two that generally progresses the characters. While there is a lot of content that can be seen as not dramatically progressing their relationship, I think it's important to stick to the fun, casual interactions that are the basis of what makes the manga so good. Without those, the very good comedy of the manga would largely be lost. These goofy interactions are core to their relationship and their dynamic. Over time, their relationship blossoms into a very well done romance. They learn to respect each other's boundaries, they start to learn the finer things that make up each other and do little things to make each other happy. They both learn to bring down the walls and move away from the routine that I just talked about. While Nagatoro primarily pushes the relationship in the beginning, later they are roughly on equal footing. Seeing them both pursue their passions and see how those pursuits affect their relationship is really interesting. It's very sweet seeing them learn how to support each other. This is seriously one of my favorite romances. You will see as you get further on how wholesome and endearing their relationship becomes. It consistently gets me smiling from ear to ear. I'm not saying people need to put aside their issues with bullying or teasing or any other content that they take issue with being portrayed in media, but if you can stomach the very beginning, I can tell you this relationship is worth getting through it for. At first, their dynamic is just dom sub, but as it goes on, their genuinely good chemistry together becomes very apparent. And from there, as they get more directly romantic, we spend a lot of time seeing how their chemistry develops and changes. At their absolute best, Nagatoro and Senpai have an extremely sweet and supportive relationship. This will include spoilers for very late in the manga as of when this was written, hitting on stuff going on in the most recent chapters, again as of writing. In my opinion, people get too hung up over them not officially dating. In terms of their actual relationship with each other, they are in a romantic relationship in pretty much every sense. By where the manga is at the time, they've directly expressed their romantic interest in each other and have done many of the things people in relationships do. I actually really like that the writing does not get hung up on the firm status of dating and embraces them, taking things as they go and letting their relationship happen in whatever way they feel comfortable. They both end up having clear goals that they're using as part of their motivation concerning their relationship. They're waiting until the right moment to move forward. and both of them recognize that that is the state of their relationship. And to me, that's completely valid. They do not need to have traditional progression as they are not traditional people in a traditional relationship. It makes it more interesting as a story and promotes the idea that there is no exact way a relationship should go. I feel this aspect of their relationship fits their personalities and dynamic, while also portraying a uniquely functioning relationship that is just as valid as any other. And thing that I love, and not even a little thing, a major thing, is the amazing Nagatoro faces. If you've seen anything from Nagatoro without reading or watching it, it's people using her faces as reaction images. And that's how I came across it. The author is great at drawing expressive faces. Many people who have never seen or read it know exactly what Nagatoro's personality is just from seeing her expressions. There is quite a bit of fan servicey stuff, as I mentioned before, and obviously their dynamic is very much a dom sub intense teasing relationship. If you strongly dislike fan service or don't have interest in that dynamic, you will likely struggle to enjoy it, especially at the very beginning. But the legit fan service is not as common as every chapter or so, or even every few chapters. In some scenes, I genuinely do think there is some tastefulness to it and shows how their relationship has progressed, such as the nude modeling and their conversation in the hot spring. It sounds like just trying to justify horny stuff, but I promise those two scenes are incredibly important to the points that I brought up previously. So, closing out pretty soon, I'll briefly touch on the anime adaptation and say that it's good. Both Nagatoro and Senpai have very good voice acting, and for the most part, the art does a solid job mimicking the more detailed expressions. And those 2 points are honestly the most important to me. The presentation is not great, with a lot of still shots and lower detail. Some people may also be bothered by how the studio changed for season 2, but I don't think those are major issues. The style of the manga, which how much emphasis it puts on dynamic frames, makes sense not to be adapted to be super fluid. It's a bit of an excuse, but it kind of works. Personally, I would recommend the manga over the anime due to the art quality. I don't think the coloring that the anime offers adds a lot in this case as well. So, now closing out, I truly love this series. It's one of my favorite romances. I admit I started it largely because the dynamic fit my tastes, but I've stayed with it for the wonderful relationship that came out of those initial interactions. And just quick note from the future from writing this, not going to spoil anything, but it is really good. It's still super good, super sweet. We're getting exactly what we want. It's fantastic. So thank you for listening. I hope reading or listening to this has encouraged someone to give the manga or the anime a shot.